So welcome along everyone to a fabulous little blue simple flower. So this one will allow you to create some fabulous little flower paintings, watercolours, loose watercolours in no time at all. So let's get started, guys. So we've got Peter the propelling pencil to do some very simple line work. Okay, we're just going to put 3 little flowers on. We've got the square already drawn out, which is about 12 by 12. We're going to put 1 little flower there, 1, let's have a little bit lower, and 1 just a bit higher. Yeah? So all the flower shape is, all I want to do is a little block like that. And that's going to be the top of the flower. And then there's a little bobble below it like that. Now how simple is that? Just basic shapes, and these are going to give us the area we need to try and keep within, or roughly within. Let's put a stem on just to remind us to drop those on in a few minutes. And look how wobbly it is, I don't care at all. Always holding the pencil a long way away, not getting tight and detailed. Always think, let's be loose. Okay, that's the drawing, guys. Very simple, but that's all you need. Okay. Have a little break and let's get together in a moment or two. So welcome back, guys, after all that strenuous drawing. We had a little rest and let's get together again for the painting. So here we've got a small dagger brush, which we call Mini Dave, because he's mini and he looks like Dave. So all we're going to do, we've got a bit of clean water on there. I'm just going to put a blob of water on each of the tops of the flowers. Blob, blob and blob. You can get a bit more. Don't need to soak it, just backwards and forwards, roughly within that area we first drew out. So we start with our first colour, which is royal blue, or you could use cerulean blue, any light blue. You don't have to go out and buy it specially. And we're going to mix this to a coffee strength. Okay, all we do is that. And that, so we just move it about a bit, backwards and forwards. Do it reasonably slowly so you can see what you're doing. Yeah. And that's it, guys, that is it. Yeah. Simple bimple. Now, all we do now is take the colour off the brush. Just got a little bit of water on there. I say a little bit, it's not soaked, it's just damp. And all we're going to do is push this colour upwards to the right and to the left. Okay, same with the second one, bit of water on. I've got some new water there. Up, left and right. Next one, well, I'm doing actually left for a start now, let's be honest. Left, up, right. No particular order, whichever's easiest for you. Left-handers might go one way, right-handers might go the other. Okay, so we've got all that on. Now I'm going to throw my next colour in, which is cobalt blue. So it's a mid-range blue, doing it to a coffee strength. And just in the middle of this, chuck another bundle in. Just notice I circle it round so it gets a bit of traction. Yeah. And again, just clean your brush off, a little bit of water. Just push this out again. I'm not taking it quite as far as the first colour, which was the light blue. Otherwise you'd just cover everything and there wasn't much point doing it, really. So there we go, and let that floating about. Good stuff, let that dry a bit. Right, phase 2. little bit of water on the bobble, not right up to the colour, just away from it. And we actually paint the shape of the bobbles we want. We don't just follow the line that we've put on. Okay, so the bobble is about there. Bobble. Bobble. Yeah, so you see it's just away from the main area. And then what I do, I drag a line in and out to join up. In and out to join up. Because that's how they grow. They've told me. And I'm leaving little gaps in there of just light, untouched paper, just at the top little bits. So we've got that on, guys, we've got that on. Now next colour, I'm going to use a mid-green, which is sap green. Yeah, you use it to coffee strength again. You always need these colours to be liquid, particularly to start off the painting. Use a bit of dry stuff later, but not at the beginning. So, got that on. I'm just going to drop this into one side of the bobble and only up to where the flower bit grows at the top. One side of the bobble, just up to the flower bit. One side of the bobble. Now you have to keep moving with this. You can't stop to have a cup of coffee or glass of wine because it's got to be still wet. Yeah, and there they are floating about. Okay, now I'm going to do one more colour, which I'm going to have a dark blue, which is ultramarine blue, coffee strength. You can hear me mixing it there. I'm not making a sponge cake. At the top, just bob that on. Now I'm not even really dragging the brush, I'm just putting it down, moving it slightly. Again, I don't drag it as far as the previous colour. I'm going to drop a little bit into the middle and to the right of the bobbly bit underneath. Second one. And the brush naturally gives you a simple shape. So I'm not twisting the brush out about at all. I'm just allowing it to use its natural shape to pick out the bobbly bit. Okay, third one. This one's a bit bigger, so I'm just dragging this a little bit further. Okay, down the centre of the bobbly bit. Job is a lovely one. Yeah. Okay, let's leave that there. And we're going to go back to those in a few minutes. But let's do some stems. Okay. So I'm going to start with my large rigger brush, Miss Rigger, we call her. And I've got Coffee Strength Royal Blue. So I start at the bottom of the bobble, just drag. And it's quite a quick movement, just down to the bottom. Second one, yeah. Third one. And what it is several drags. I drag it and then stop, drag it and then stop, drag it and then stop. Now, so I got that on, and I'm going to throw a little bit of green in there as well. Because it's liquid, all you need to do is tap it on to these little lines and the liquid, and that'll drive it for you. Right, okay. I think I'm just going to put a bit of dark blue, royal blue, ultramarine blue just under the bobble. That's where a bit of shadow might fall. And if it's liquid, just force it in, it'll be alright. Okay, so there you have three little flowers, but what we're going to do is soften them off a bit. Yeah, so I've allowed them to dry a bit, and I've got Mini Dave just with a bit of water, nothing else. All I'm going to do is I'm starting at the edge and just going to go backwards and forwards and just agitate the colour a bit and drag it out. I'm not touching the bobble at the moment, just the actual fluffy top bit. Now this gives you a really nice soft finish when I've done that bit, I'll just agitate the last colour we got on, which was the dark blue, ultramarine blue, and just bobble a bit of water into that, and that floats again. Yeah? Then dry my brush, pick up a little bit more water, do the same with the second one. I don't just continue with the same water because it'd been messed up from the first flower. So we don't want to carry that colour over, we want to start afresh. So second one, just backwards and forwards movements like this, nothing special. Then into the blue. And again, I don't push the blue out, I just agitate the very edge of where the blue had got to. Third one, now you can see these are quite dry, so sometimes you have to put a bit of muscle into it. It's not just I'm just touching it and it's happening. I'm agitating the colour and then pushing it out a bit. And the blue. Yeah. So you see how it's settling really quite nicely. Now, what I'm going to do now is a little bit on the bobble. That's just agitating. Clean it off, a bit more water. And this mixes the colours together on the paper. Yeah, woo. You don't need the palette every time. Well, you do, because it was just all over your kitchen table, over your cat, your dog, friends and family. Okay, done that one. Now, what about a little bit across the stems? Yeah. Now, if this is still very wet, just let it dry more. And I'm going to pick a place that's a bit drier. So maybe here. See, that's quite wet there, but I quite like it. And don't do it all the way down. Just do a bit, then a bit more. Here. And as soon as you touch it, you'll know how wet it is. Same again. Incorporate that line I used earlier, so I knew I could use that quite nicely. Very good, folks. Lovely, lovely. Now, have you ever splattered with watercolour? Now's your time. Miss Rigger, and I've got Coffee Strength Royal Blue. And all I'm going to do is splatter. So I hold my finger, tap the metal bit, the ferrule against my finger, and then that launches some royal blue. I'm just aiming for the top at the moment. Whichever direction you aim this particular brush in, she generally throws the stuff that way. Very clever lady. A little bit of ultramarine blue, a bit lower down. Maybe even a bit at the top. You decide. Just don't completely obliterate the paper. You want to be able to see something. Okay, got that on. Now the very last thing, I've just got water on the brush now. And if I tap that on, this will knock some of the splatter about. So it lands in the colour and then it starts to swim about, yeah? Gives you a little bit of motion. So, there we are, guys. Very simple but very, very effective little flowers for you to try. Give it a whirl. Do all those little techniques. Once you've done it once, you'll have a run through and then do it again. So always do it a couple of times, not just the once and then say, right, crack that, what's next? Do it a couple of times because you learn the technique. So, well done, guys. Great to see you. Give it a go and I shall see you all again very, very soon.